Guys, so this is the recap for Scream Season 2 episode 7, Let the Right One In. Now the episode starts off with, we see Eli. It almost feels like a dream sequence, and I'm guessing that's really what it is. A dream sequence of Eli, and he's making breakfast. He's making himself breakfast. He's clearly not in his own home. We're wondering who the hell are these people that are in their bedroom sleeping. And so Eli leaves, and then we see that clearly he wasn't meant to be there. He intruded. He did a home invasion type of thing. He didn't steal. All he did was make himself breakfast and leave. So we're wondering, okay, this doesn't help with the fact that we know that there's something really sketchy about Eli. We're back at Emma's house, and Sheriff Miguel comes over, and Sheriff Miguel has some more information, because remember, now Kieran is pumping him with information. So Sheriff Miguel knows the fact that Emma went to the carnival, and to the, the abandoned carnival, whatever it is. And so her mom didn't know that. So her mom's just like, yeah, what do you mean? What's going on? And the reason why he was originally there, though, was because, remember, Emma's father was being reached out to the girl who died. I forgot what the girl's name was. Yeah, so the girl who died, and it was coming from Emma's computer, from her IP address. So they're like, yeah, we need to confiscate your laptop. Yeah, we trust you. We trust you. We trust you though, but we need that laptop ASAP. Thank you. And of course it's like, yeah, so you need to stop with this activity of going off and do whatever you want. She's just like, look, I'm a little shook right now. I clearly feel like I'm being followed. I clearly am being followed. Not only that, it's just like, yeah, there is more. Yeah, there's more. And Emma's mom's like, yeah, there's more. Yeah, so we actually went to, that abandoned house down the street? Yeah, we went to there, and I found pictures of myself, and those pictures were of me throughout all the stages of my life. And the next time I went back with my mom, of course, nothing was there. So we just chucked it up as, me being hysterical, me hallucinating. But clearly there's something to it. So Sheriff Miguel is just like, look, I need you to actually work with me. I need you to actually trust me. Can you attempt to do that? She was just like, yeah, of course. Now Noah is with Audrey, and Noah and Audrey are talking about, Audrey, you need to come and just spill the beans, because what's done in the dark comes to the light. Audrey's saying to herself, you don't understand. I can't tell someone like Emma. All that stuff is happening. Emma's thinking that it's her fault. She doesn't even realize one of the main culprits, which was Piper. I brought her into the situation. Emma's gonna flip as soon as she finds out. So I cannot tell her. They go down to the coffee shop, to the cafe, and they're getting something to eat. And while that's happening, Zoe notices Noah. So Zoe goes and meets up with Noah, and Zoe pretty much goes and has Noah ask her out, and they're going to have a study date, some form of a date by the lake. And as we know, this Lakewood bunch and this damn lake, Noah's really interested. He's interested in Zoe, and Zoe's interested in him, but connections aren't fine. They're both not really comfortable with the whole asking people out, that social anxiety stuff. And Audrey comes in. I'm thinking, Audrey, you know what it is. Why are you intervening? Audrey doesn't understand the concept of boundary issues. She really, really messed things up for Noah. She's really messing things up for Noah. And of course she was just joking around with him, kidding with him. And Noah was still like, well, you still need to go and tell Emma the truth. Audrey's just like, yeah, why don't you just go and worry about your little date? Your date, because it's an actual date. Do you realize that? It's just like, oh, it's not. No, it's a date. You hear me? It's an actual date. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. And bring protection. It's like, yeah, of course I have. And so, we have Kieran talking to Emma. Kieran and Emma are on the rocks because Kieran again went and snitched on Emma. Emma's wondering why do you keep opening your mouth? Why do you keep opening your mouth? Kieran's saying, I want to protect you. I don't want you out. I don't want you dead in these streets. And you're doing whatever you want to do. That's great and all, but I'm thinking, if I do not tell this officer this information to make sure that you don't just go and continue to do whatever you want to do, you're going to be the next one in the paper. You're going to be the next one that's the viral trending topic because Lakewood is crazy. This whole situation is crazy. My father just died. I just can't deal with another death right now. That's not what he said, but I'm sure that's what he was thinking. And Brooke goes and sees that, what's her name? Audrey is at the cafe. So she goes, she talks to Audrey, and this is where Brooke admits that, yeah, she met up with Bronson and she may have handcuffed him to a hotel bed and may have threatened to castrate him if he didn't admit the fact that he was the one who's actually the killer. And when that didn't happen, she may have just left him there. Audrey's just like, Brooke, you were crazy, but I can't really judge you right now because, I just can't really judge you right now. So what do you want to do? It's just like, I know I have to do something. It's like, Brooke, you know you have to set him free, right? Yes, I know. Now, Sheriff Miguel goes to, of course, the abandoned house, and guess what he finds? He finds the picture of Emma and I believe her real father. Emma and her, again, I believe real father. He finds the picture, but he hides it. He hides it from his fellow officer because he knows that crap, this doesn't look good for them. There's clearly a big cover-up that they're trying to keep covered up. And so he's like, I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that this stays secret. Emma finally shows up to work, and Eli, of course, Eli's been there the whole time. I think he was also there when originally Noah and Audrey came. But Eli goes, he talks to Emma because Emma's in a mood right now. Emma's having issues with Kieran. And Eli plays the whole supportive cousin thing and supportive friend. But we know Eli's very interested in Emma. We know that he's super interested in Emma. And because of that, he's going to go and do whatever he can to let her spill her heart out. And she talks about how she doesn't really understand Kieran and why does he keep doing certain things. He wants me to trust him, and yet he goes and does certain things. I know I do the same thing, but still. And this is where Eli flips the script and pretends like he's really there for Emma and Kieran when he's only there for Emma. And he talks about how Kieran, you know, things are hard for him. You know, his mother and his stepfather, they died in the car accident. He actually got into an argument with his stepfather in the car accident and on the day of the accident. On the day of the accident. And so he's always felt guilt towards that, and he has this incessant need of trying to protect people. I'm like, Eli, you don't count. You consistently, purposely get yourself into trouble. And so he's just like, why don't we go out? You know, just so you can take your mind off of things. Come on now, just escape. I'm just like, yeah, escape into his arms. That's what he's playing in Emma. Run, Emma. So, of course, he's just playing around with her, playing with her apron. Kieran comes in because, of course, he wants to see his girlfriend and talk to her. But as soon as he sees that, he's like, peace! Peace! And speaking of girlfriends, we have Zoe with Noah. And they're just joking around in the car, and one thing leads to another. Zoe tried to make up this excuse that she was with, what was it, Space Mountain? No, Space Mountain. With some space project. You know, something that Noah was really interested in. And Noah clocked her because I believe she said, you know, it was in October that she went. And he was just like, yeah, so but it's in the summer, so how could you possibly go in the fall? She's just like, okay, I didn't go. Happy now? That's where my antennas went. I was like, uh-oh, Zoe? Is this something you want to tell us? Zoe? No, my Zoe. Zoe? And so that's when she tells him, look, I was having a real hard time in school, wasn't really making friends, not really close with anyone, and I went and I did something really stupid. My mother found out, she put me in counseling, and so that's why I wasn't there. Got it? It's just like, look, girl, I understand. And she also talks about how, you know, she really started to really fall in love with Noah from his podcast because Stay in the Loop. The interesting about that, again, that made my antennas go up. I'm starting to think, wait, oh yeah, please like, comment, subscribe, by the way. What if Zoe also did what Audrey did as far as reaching out to a Piper type, except for it wasn't Piper, it was someone else? We didn't think of that now, did we? What if Zoe is also in an Audrey predicament where she reached out to someone kind of like a Piper and essentially invited the killer there, and she's not necessarily a part of the killing? So, and Audrey calls, of course, at the worst time, and Noah does the right thing. Noah goes and ignores her call. And so Zoe really appreciates that. The reason why Audrey called, because they're at the hotel room. They're at the hotel room. They're about to confront Branson, and he's not there. He's not there. Some of his belongings are there. His watch, I believe a shirt, maybe one other thing is there. And that's it. But you know what is there besides them? A camera. A camera that's clearly shooting a live feed. That's why, again, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. Was it Mystic or Mystery? That's why I was talking with someone who regularly watches my reviews, my recaps, and they're saying how possibly, what if, again, this is a situation where everything's being videotaped and broadcast so that they could turn it into like a really Scream, Psycho, Killer-esque movie. And I'm really starting to think that maybe that's the goal, because they're doing a lot of picturesque, big scenes, big moments. You know, Audrey is clearly the star of this whole thing. We're thinking that it's Emma, but this season it's really Audrey. She's the one that's entangled with everything, and we're just trying to see, so how would that occur when two stars finally clash with each other? But Brooke is just like, okay, so this is really weird. I'm getting a text to go and meet with Branson at the school in 2 hours in his office. You know, we used to have sex and all that. And Brooke is just like, this is really messed up. Audrey's just like, you know, I support you. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Noah, again, is by the lake. And shout out to Zoe. I was like, dang, Zoe's hiding all that under them big-ass sweaters. How dare you guys let Zoe hide all of that in them big-ass sweaters? I'm mad now. I'm really mad. At least get her a really fitted sweater. Anyway, so Zoe, you know, she's slightly flirting with Noah. Noah's slightly flirting back. And they start to make out. At this point, they didn't have sex, but they're just making out. And then Miss Lang comes to visit Emma, and Emma's just like, look, you know what? Because Miss Lang apologizes for the whole panic thing, and Emma's just like, you know what? It's great, it's good, but I don't really want to talk to you. Miss Lang's like, that's okay, but maybe I could prescribe someone to you, so recommend someone to you so that you could go at least speak with someone. And of course, if you want to talk, you can come to the school. We cannot trust Miss Lang because there is something sketchy with her. There is something really sketchy with her. And I already told you about the fact that Kieran comes in as they're playing around, and Eli invites Emma to dinner. So Miss Lang is in her office, and she has a huge file, no, multiple files on the Lakeland 6. Well, the Lakewood 6. I actually like Lakeland better, so don't be surprised if I just start calling it the Lakeland 6. Alright, the Lakewood 6, well, Lakewood 5. But she has recordings on all of them. She has, I guess, when they were all screened. That's why I'm wondering, what is she really? Is she working on a thesis? Or is she going to come up with a paper, a book? Is she going to go and create a whole study around this? Is she going to go and, is she undercover? Is she undercover? That's also another thing. Is she undercover? And while she's in her office, some foolery occurs. Some major foolery occurs. But that's the thing with Miss Lang. What is she really? What is her real purpose for the show? Because she has way too much on these students, way too much invested, way too interested in Emma. Is she undercover? Like, who is she to the rest of them? Noah and Zoe had a great start. Of course, Audrey kept calling, and she's still calling. And so they're like, well, why don't we have dinner? Why don't we go? And Noah's mom is going to be out of town, so he has the house to himself. So he invites Zoe. So there's that. Now he's in the store trying to get condoms, and this older woman comes in. It's just like, oh honey, so no, I understand. No, please don't make any excuses. Safe sex is safe sex. Shout out to you, but they're pretty much all the same. All that really matters is the size. So which one are you? Are you big? Oh, like, what? I felt like I was watching an episode of Degrassi this past episode. I'm not gonna lie. This felt very Degrassi-esque, minus the kill. Well, so anyway, Brooke, you know, she's getting dolled up for her meeting with Branson, and Audrey's like, what are you doing? You don't even have to go to this. Brooke's like, you know, this is my war paint. Audrey, she sounds like she borderline wants to come clean. It's not that she's necessarily going to at this time, but that's when the killer goes and sends her a message, and it's just like, you have to go to the school as well, and if you don't, the information is going to leak. He's going to forward, or the killer's going to forward the information about Audrey being a part of what's been going on this whole time. And so Audrey goes to the school with Brooke. Now, Miss Lang is recording, you know, her findings with Emma. She's recording them, and so then she hears a sound. She hears a weird sound. Well, actually, first she hears a sound. She leaves her office. That was the first distraction. She gets a call from the killer. The killer goes and tries to say, you know, it's very odd that you have this information on these students. What are you really doing? What are your real plans? My sentiments exactly, so I was with the killer on that. Only that. Again, please like, comment, subscribe if you didn't already. Now, there's this wind-up pig, and the whole point is to get her away from her office for, it was probably more so a good couple of minutes. That was probably how long it actually was. Because when she came back, her office was disheveled. It was disheveled. It was a mess. So then she goes back out of the room and she sees the killer. The killer pops up on her, but the killer wasn't ready. That's why I'm telling you, who is Miss Lang? Because what happens next is crazy. So the killer pops up in front of her, has Branson's hand, and so the killer has a knife as well. She's like, She gets this rolly desk thing, this rolly desk unit, slams it against the killer. She kicks the killer, and then she starts to run. I'm like, who is Miss Lang? Something is not right here. She's an undercover something. She's an undercover something. So she starts running. Then she sees Branson. I'm like, oh Lord, if you're gonna die because of some man who was okay with going back to these young girls, I was like, don't play her like that. I'm starting to like her. Don't play her like that. Thankfully, they didn't. What's next is the killer almost stabs her in the back. She goes, whoop! And then the killer stabs Branson. I'm like, damn. Damn. Sorry, dude. Sorry, not sorry, dude. So he gets stabbed again. And so she starts running. She starts running up the stairs. She falls because the killer has her leg. She kicks him. Kicks the killer. We don't know if it's male or female. But this killer was strong enough and tall enough because Miss Lang is tall. That's why I'm wondering, Kieran's like the tallest person out of this main cast. Who is a similar height to him? Because I'm thinking Gustavo, he's not that tall. So then I'm like, he also, the body type could be Kieran. It really could. It really could, honestly. But I'm trying to think who else has that similar body type. Because that killer was flinging her around. Once he threw her against the wall, hit her down the stairs, and you saw her bleeding out from her head. And I'm thinking, she's not dead though. She's not dead. That just seems a weird way to... No, they're not going to do it that way. The killer wants to go and finish it off. But then thankfully the custodian, he comes in and sees, holy crap, what happened to Miss Lang? Oh my gosh, what's going on? So he calls, and of course that ruins the killer's plan because he probably wanted to frame Audrey again. And Audrey is there at the school. She's there with Brooke. Brooke drove in her Range Rover. that car is nice though. And Audrey's trying to do everything she can to convince Brooke not to go in there. Audrey's just like, no, let me go in there first. I'm just going to go and check things out. Look, girl, you do not need to be in there. So she goes, and that's when the the custodian had his hands, and of course they were bloody. So Audrey was wondering what's going on. He was just like, it's not what you think. You know, the teacher fell. It's just like, what do you mean? Oh my gosh, Miss Lang? Did you call someone? Did you call 911? It's like, yeah, of course. Brooke comes in. It's just like, Miss Lang? Because remember, she's all of their teachers, so they all know her. So she's just like, did someone call them? Like, what's going on? So we get to Noah, and Noah's in his room with Zoe, and Noah has Zoe go and record audio for her first podcast, because you know Zoe loves the Morgue podcast, and Zoe is slick. She sees in the corner of her eye a file named Audrey. So she's looking at that file this whole time. And Noah is excited. You know, he's probably going and getting protection. Aside from that, she was also like, does your mom have any, or do you have any type of adult beverages? I'm like, Zoe. So Zoe gets him out of the room, and that's when Zoe finds the Audrey file and decides that she's going to go and email it. Who does she email it to? Well, we'll have to wait to find out. Eli is sneaking Emma into this abandoned, well, we won't say necessarily abandoned, well, yeah, it technically is abandoned, but this area looks like the part of town where it's not fully developed. It was just like in the process of being developed. So they go in there, and while Noah and Zoe were about to go meow, Audrey busts in. She's like, oh my gosh, no. And Zoe was pissed. Zoe was just saying, Zoe stormed out of there. Audrey was just like, look, I kept calling you. I did everything that I could, and you didn't respond back to me. So then I came directly here. I'm like, does anyone know how to knock? Does everyone have a key to Noah's house? Like, what's really going on? And Noah was pissed. He's just like, you're constantly just doing whatever you want. You want me to move on. You want me to do this. You want me to do that. But you always still need me for things. And this is where Eli goes and he sets his little trap. So Eli talks about how, you know, this house is actually abandoned and it's been abandoned. You know, back in Atlanta, I used to be able to do certain things, but here in Lakewood, there is nothing to do. So, you know, I have to find something to do. And I'm the type that I would go, and because of how home life was, I would sometimes just go and try to create a whole new world for myself. And so I would pretend that I'm in other people's houses and lives and just interacting with them just to escape from my own. And so this house, it's abandoned. They pretty much created it and then decided, there's no one to offload it, so they're just going to take the loss and leave it abandoned. So sometimes I periodically, you know, when I want to get away with my mom because, you know, she's interesting and then Kieran's interesting. And so himself, and speaking of Kieran, now they're... What the hell's going on? Yeah, and speaking of Kieran, I don't know who this Kieran is. The Kieran of Lakewood is completely different from the Kieran of Atlanta, or even before then. And again, Audrey is battling with the fact that, look, things are bad, Noah. There was another killing. There was another killing. No, there was almost another killing. She's still alive, but the killer wanted me to go to the school. And so I would have been there to find her instead of the janitor. And it was just like, so what was the whole point of, oh, his plans were shook. He ran out of there because the janitor came through and so messed with his whole timeline of doing whatever he wanted to do. So it's just like, things are getting really bad, Noah. Things are getting really sketchy. And Noah's just like, you have to tell. You have to go and just be truthful because this is going to catch up with you. Miguel goes and reaches out to Emma's mom because Emma's mom is just like, no, because look, I need you to look at this. Look, I went to the house and I found something. You didn't find anything, but I found something. This is like, I thought we handled him. I thought we took care of him. Took care of him as in, killed, you know, the original. But the reality is, someone who knows Emma, that's obsessed with Emma, is coming after her and is coming after the people around her. Miguel, Emma's mom, Quinn, there's nothing that they really can do at this point. They're just spectators. And like I said, Eli's telling Emma that Kieran's been very shaky and shady and off here. He's completely different than the Kieran that I know. So, I don't know what to tell you. He's just, but again, of course, with his father dying and all that, I do understand it, but there's just something not right. So, Eli goes in for the kill because, you know, at this point, Emma's a little sauced up and he goes, makes plans to move on her. He kisses her, and she's just like, okay, that was nice, but, you know, I'm still with Kieran, and even though we're arguing, we're still trying to work things out. Emma, you should have been like, wait a minute. This is the second time that that's happened. Well, technically, the first official time, 2 attempts. And so, you're Kieran's cousin, and yet you're still planting the moves on me. I'm not Emma must be so mentally drained that she doesn't realize how messed up the situation actually is. It doesn't matter because the killer decides he wants to light the house on fire. He wasn't really trying to kill them. The killer is just messing with them at this point. I don't know if there's going to be video from it. What I do know is there were 2 bodies in that house. One was the motel attendant. The other one was Branson. Branson was still alive now. Branson woke up just in time to be burnt alive. That's how messed up this oh Lord, this situation is. Please like, comment, subscribe. Come back next week. It's like just when I think I know, because they even tried to make it seem like it was Kieran at one point towards the end. And like I said, it could be him, his right body type. We never really see him and the killer in the same spot. Oh, I need a nap. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are. Come back next week.